وأن هذا العلم مخصوص بما قد شاع فيه عند كل العلماء.
الحمد لله وحده والصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي بعده. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to another halqa in this series of Seeking Knowledge. In this little halqa we'll be talking about buying books, quantity or quality. And this is the question today. So the students have always been differing when we were studying and continue perhaps to whether they should buy a lot of books or they should just buy a quality, selective amount of books. The question is quality or quantity. Okay, so at the beginning, I can talk about my own experience, and I think brothers have different opinions about this. But one of the best advices that I got from my teacher, Sheikh Abdul Bari Al Ansari, before he taught me, when we visited him in his maktaba, his father's massive library that he gathered manuscripts and books from all over the world, Sheikh Hamad Al Ansari, his son Sheikh Abdul Bari, we visited his maktaba one time, and I think I was in my second year in the Ma'had. And before that, we would just buy any books and as much as we could, right? And the Sheikh gave us some potent advice that I would like to share with you. He mentioned that, and this is specifically for students in the university, he mentioned to us that a person doesn't need all the books that are in the maktaba that's for sale. You don't need to buy everything. A student in the kulliyah only needs two shelves of books, and that's enough for him for his 4 years. 2 shelves of books, long shelves, are enough for him for his time in the university. And that is because if you're going to be buying books that concern you right now, that you are studying right now, and maybe can use as reference points in your studies in the kulliyah, then they won't exceed this much. And this was advice that I took from him, and I applied it straight away. I stopped buying books ishwa'i randomly, and I began buying books that were in my expertise, books that were related to my field, and I was in Kulliyat al-Hadith. And so I'd buy books that are related to Kulliyat al-Hadith, those books that a talib la yastaghni an, a talib cannot go without in Hadith. And of course, I would have the basics of the other fields that I would study and need. And if I had a specific book that I would be studying with the scholars outside. That's what I stuck to. And this was good advice for me. And I believe that was quality over quantity. And you see, Shaykh Uthaymeen rahimahullah ta'ala, there is a picture of his a picture of his library after he died. And it was only a number of shelves. 5, 6, 7 shelves. It wasn't massive compared to other people today. And so quality over quantity for me. Wallahu ta'ala alam. Other brothers, they would say, so I can be fair, other brothers would say, we agree, but they would say we are from the West. We are from the West. And we're not living in Medina. And so we won't be able to buy these books all the time. And so they held the opinion of buying as much books as possible in the different fields, in their reference points and the likes, in order to ship it back when they graduate back to their countries, wherever they came from. And that's a good illah as well, and good point as well, that once you've gone and you left Medina, then you won't have the same exposure and the same access to books as you do when you are in Medina. So that's an important point to important thing that you could look at as well if you want to, what you want to choose. Sadly, moving on to today, the reality is, and I'm speaking in 2022 now, 7-8 months ago, the prices, or a year and a half ago after the pandemic, the price of paper became very expensive. And the price of books, naturally, due to a number of reasons, became very expensive. And so books aren't as cheap as they used to be. In fact, they are very expensive at the moment. At the moment when I'm recording this video. And so I believe, Wallahu ta'ala a'lam, that choice over quality and quantity is not no longer available unless you have, mashallah, flus, and Allah Azza wa Jal has blessed you with money. And that's for specific and a few amount of people. But the general folk and the general number of students, then I don't believe they have that choice anymore. I believe now, due to the rocketing prices and the expensive cost of books at the moment, we are forced to choose quality over quantity. And so therefore, you should buy those books that you need, number one, when you are studying in the kulliyah. So you buy those books related to your studies. The books that you need when you're studying with the scholars. A scholar has started a book in Kitab al-Tawheed. You buy Kitab al-Tawheed, مثلا. Or a book, a sheikh has started, مثلا, a book in fiqh. And you, Zad al-Mustaqni'. So you buy the book Zad al-Mustaqni' and you study that with the sheikh. Or some books that you cannot do without in your expertise as a reference point. Maybe an explanation of a book. Like, for example, explanation of Bulugh al-Maram by Abdullah Fawzan. Minhat al-Alam, a great book, and is a marja. Or the explanation of Sheikh Salih Fawzan. So Sheikh Abdullah Fawzan or Sheikh Salih Fawzan, both of them have beautiful explanations of Bulugh al-Maram. And so you might have to buy that as a reference point and to revise for the explanations of those ahadith when you're studying them in the kulli. And the likes, وَهَلُمَّ جَرًّا. The books you're directly studying or the books that will help you in your studies. Wallahu ta'ala. And in that form and in that way, you'll be able to purchase books and choose quality and bi'idhnillahi ta'ala benefit from these books. In any case, this is just a side benefit and a latifa. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam. Wa sallallahu wa sallam wa barak ala nabiyyina Muhammad. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.